we're going to run a highway, super highway, straight down, and they took all this property. So it abandoned the project in 1970, but we had all these empty houses, and one by one they burn. So we had this big empty field, and property values probably weren't that high back then anyway. But I remember going over there. We go over there and break bottles and do whatever. It was
what kids do.
Yeah,
right, and hang out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you, and put that back on the dole, and so that the city realizes the tax revenue from that.
Yeah.
Health. Talk to me about health.
Well, I think I know with the administration going, we're probably going to get a new public health commissioner. Maybe the current one stays on or whatever. We've got to do more about public health. We especially need to get public health into the classrooms, and again, in the public schools. And again, I keep hating to go back to my own childhood, but I came from a single-parent family. Right. I would go to school. Back then, they had nurses. Not every school has a nurse. I don't think there's any nurses. We need nurses in schools. We need some sort of connection with the public health in there, because kids come in, and your teacher is the first person next to your mother that sees you. They're going to know if you got a cold. They're going to know if you feel sick. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to get the Public Health Commission involved more in the public schools. I'd like there to be more public health clinics out there, because I don't consider myself wealthy or middle class. I mean, I'm just barely getting by paying the bills, especially since I've been working for the last 5 months. Right. But we need more public health utilities out there, especially for elderly people as well.
Well, that's where a lot of the community health centers are also coming into play. Because I know that there's this big push to get people out of the emergency rooms in the bigger hospital, to get them to go over to the community health centers, so that they can get that kind of more, what do you call, intimate care. Yeah. And so you don't have to sit in an emergency room forever. Yeah. Talk to me about job creation. What's your ideas on spurring employment and getting more, particularly small businesses, to grow in the city?
It's a pretty easy thing, and I think that part of that would start with the Boston Public Schools and the vocational training you were talking about. I'd like to get businesses and the unions more involved with the schools. The unions, in a way that we get vocational training in the schools, where the kid goes in, much like the ROTC, where they, you take an ROTC in school, and then you leave school and you go into the service, and that time counts for you if you go into the military. I'd like to see that happen with the unions, where they get involved with the schools, like high schools. They start a program, and the kid basically, essentially, starts his apprentice program in there, and when he leaves, he's guaranteed a job with the union. And I think one of the mayoral candidates has already been talking about that as well. I think he may already have a plan in place. I haven't really read too much about it, but I think I heard about it. I think that's one thing. I think the business community, the hospitals, and I don't want to attack the hospitals and the universities for not paying enough in taxes, but they should pay a little bit more. But I'd like to see them get a little bit more involved with spurring the economy by hiring people within the city of Boston.
Yeah, and also a lot of the schools are really, when you talk about real estate, I went to Boston College. I've seen Northeastern.
Yeah, I went to BC too.
You went to great
I'm
school.
an Eagle.
There you go. But a lot of these schools take up a lot of real estate. Yeah. And so that also makes it hard when you talk about renting. Yeah. The prices go up and people get priced out, and then where do they go? Yeah. You see, so you have to have an eye towards that. And so I see what you're talking about, where you're talking about public safety, education, healthcare, housing, affordable housing, all kind of melding into one big sort of safety net.
I agree. Yeah. Yes. That's correct.
Take care of people. How about city services? Or anything in that umbrella of city services that you think needs attention?
No, I mean, we can always do better with city services. I think we're doing the best with what we have now. I think that we need, and we're in a down economy right now. So I think as more money comes in, the economy is definitely getting better. I know it is. As we get more money, I think we could increase services. One of the major complaints I had in West Roxbury, where I live, was the snow plowing was horrendous last year. Now, it's funny because people say West Roxbury gets everything. It was the worst. I don't know around the rest of the city, because I was snowed in for 3 days. And it was the funniest thing, because I couldn't get out. So I said I was kind of enjoying the vacation, and I walked up the street, and the main streets are plowed. And I go, oh my, it's just the weirdest thing. But we need to increase city services. We shouldn't cut them. I think city services are the reason why people come to Boston. The streets are clean. The barrels are emptied. I talk to people on Blue Hill Ave. They need more barrels. There are barrels up and down Blue Hill Ave, but we need more barrels. Of course, we have to make sure people don't dump all their stuff in there too.
Right, exactly.
So I think city services under the media administration, definitely gets an A, but it can do better. And I think we can do better, and I think we can get more money and we can hire more people. It's what makes Boston what it is. I mean, we're a beautiful city because of the city services we have. So
talk to me about being on the campaign trail for these many months. What's the experience? How's the experience been? Basically, not only having endless forums, but also forming relationships with all of the folks who are out there running for these seats?
Well, first of all, I want to say that before Facebook, I only had about 25 friends, but now I've got about 1 million. So that's one of the.
Right, there you go.
It's great. But no, it's great. I've done campaigns a lot. This is my first time running, and I've worked on campaigns before. And the very first campaign I worked on about 23 years ago, the city was much different back then. I would still say it was diverse, but it was, it's much more diverse now. You go to neighborhoods, and I'll knock on a door now that I knocked on 20 years ago, complete new family, the whole neighborhood's changed. But as far as the campaigning goes, if you, and I've done 7 citywide campaigns, and there were some candidates in my race, the field was 19, they cut it down to 8. And I knew right away, 5 of the candidates that were in there, knew they had no idea what they were in for. But it's a big, big city, and it's like training for a marathon. Yeah. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to have done it before you go out and do it. And if they go out the next time, they're going to know. They'll have the experience. But this city is much better than it was when I first started running. In much better shape, much cleaner. The people, it's different. Much more, more restaurants. The streets look better. Street lights everywhere. I'm just amazed, though, at how diverse. And again, I grew up in Hyde Park, and I think back then Hyde Park was, like 65% white and 35%. They would say other, and now it's 55%, people of color and 45% white people. So it's changed, but it's changed for the better.
Well, you know what? It's changed. The city has changed dramatically, and a lot of that. I'm not sure if it's a testament to Mayor Menino, but it was on his watch that all of these different stripes, all of these different colors, all of these different racial groups began to work and go to school and live together. When I first got here, whites were in white neighborhoods and blacks were in black neighborhoods, and they didn't really commingle. That's not the case anymore. And I think that's one of the tenets for a vibrant city. You have to have people of different cultures and likes coming together. I mean, I think our strengths, our differences are our strengths. Our strengths are our differences. You come together and you learn about different people.
And I think, I was a little old enough when Kevin White first got elected, but I think with him, he brought the city through the turbulent, times of the 60s and 70s. Right. And then you get Ray Flynn, who kind of brought them together. Ray Flynn and Mel King. I mean, you got to give Mel King, so much credit. And then you get Tom Menino, and the guy just, he's. I don't think anyone's going to be able to do the job that he did with bringing communities together. It's just, it's right. This city would not be vibrant the way it is without Tom Menino.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll see another 20-year mayor. I mean, it could happen, but I doubt it. People's attention spans are so short. But, I mean, if you've got a guy or a lady in that seat and they're doing a fine job, then keep them there, And clearly, I believe, if he hadn't experienced some health issues, he would have run again and he would have won again, frankly.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah. You know what? Okay, so look, Martin, we have just about a minute or so left. I want you to look into that camera, and I want you to tell people why they should consider giving you their vote to be the next city councilor.
Okay, well, which camera there? Hey, how are you? Hey, well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on your show. My name is Martin Keogh, and by the grace of God, I was drawn #1 on the ballot again. I got drawn #1 on the primary ballot. I'm asking you for one of your 4 votes. I'm asking you because I believe in the city of Boston. I'm running because I want safer neighborhoods, I want better schools, and I want more affordable housing. I've been an attorney for the last 14 years. I've helped kids get out of trouble because I was one of those kids. And prior to that, I did work in the city council for 10 years. I do have the experience with every basic city service there is. I know what to do if I get elected. I know who to talk to if I get elected. But I need your help to get elected. I believe that if you elect me, I have the energy, the vision, and the ideas to make the city go forward. And I can promise you one thing, there's no candidate in my race that will work harder, and there's no candidate in my race that will work twice as hard if they get elected. So I want to ask the audience, if you'll please consider giving me one of your 4 votes on November 5th. I'm Martin Keogh, and I'm #1 on the ballot. And thank you, Sheriff.
Thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. I know that you're all over the place, and so taking some time out to come here and talk with us today so that we get to know you and what you stand for is a great thing, and so we wish you Godspeed.
I want to thank you, too. My #1 enemy is that people don't know who I am. You go to West Roxbury, everybody knows me. You go to the side of the city, people are like, who are you?
Well, hopefully this will get a few more friends on your Facebook page.
I hope so.
Okay?
I hope so. Yeah.
All right, you take care of yourself.
All right, great. Thank you.
All right, folks, we're out of time. We're out of here. We'll be back again next week, and so until then, you take care of yourself. Peace.